Rain poured over the city like tears from heaven. Maya stood barefoot in front of the bakery window, her stomach twisting as the scent of warm bread filled the air. The shop owner had closed up hours ago, but the trays of leftovers still sat inside. She pressed her tiny palm to the glass, her reflection staring back, a thin, dark-haired girl no older than 16, wearing a faded dress that had seen better days. She turned to walk away when a voice startled her. "Are you hungry?" Maya froze. A man stood a few steps away under a large black umbrella. His expensive suit was damp, his shoes splattered with mud. Clearly, he didn't belong here. His gray eyes were cold, almost lifeless. I'm fine," she lied. He tilted his head, studying her. "That's not what your eyes say." If you like this story already, kindly subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification button to stay glued for you upcoming stories. Maya didn't respond. She hated pity. But before she could move, he walked past her, entered the bakery through a side door, and returned minutes later with 2 loaves of bread and a steaming cup of cocoa. "Take it," he said simply. She hesitated. "Why are you doing this?" "Because once," he said quietly, "someone did the same for me." Maya's fingers trembled as she accepted the food. "Thank you, sir." The man nodded, about to walk away when he stumbled, clutching his chest, gasping. The umbrella fell, rolling into the gutter. Without thinking, Maya dropped the bread and rushed to his side. "Sir, are you okay?" "Medication, pocket," he rasped. She dug through his coat and found a small silver case. Shaking, she handed him a pill and helped him swallow it. Minutes passed before his breathing steadied. Rain soaked them both, but she didn't care. When he could finally speak, he whispered, "You saved my life." Maya smiled faintly. "Guess we're even now." He chuckled softly, a sound that hadn't escaped his lips in years. "What is your name?" "Maya." "Beautiful name," he said. "I'm Henry." He reached into his coat and handed her a card. "Come to this address tomorrow. I owe you more than a loaf of bread." She glanced at it, Stone Enterprises, CEO, Henry Stone. Her heart skipped. He was a billionaire. But before she could say a word, he had already stepped into his car and driven off, leaving her standing in the rain with disbelief written all over her face. The next morning, Maya hesitated outside the towering glass building. Security guards and luxury cars surrounded the entrance. She almost turned away, but her curiosity, and the rumbling in her stomach, pushed her forward. Inside, everything sparkled. Marble floors. Golden elevators. People in suits rushing around. She felt out of place, like a stray cat in a jewelry store. At the reception desk, a woman gave her a judgmental glance. "Can I help you?" I'm here to see Mr. Stone," Maya stammered. The woman's brows shot up. "Do you have an appointment?" Before Maya could answer, a deep voice echoed behind her. "She's with me." Maya turned. Henry stood there, looking stronger than last night, though a faint tiredness lingered in his eyes. The receptionist's tone changed instantly. "Of course, Mr. Stone." Henry smiled faintly at Maya. "Come." He led her to his private office, a massive space overlooking the city. Maya stared at the shelves of awards, photos, and sleek decor. "This is amazing," she whispered. Henry smiled sadly. "It used to feel that way." He gestured for her to sit. "Tell me, Maya, what's your story?" She hesitated, unsure if he really wanted to know. But something in his tone made her open up. She told him about the orphanage that shut down last year, about sleeping behind shops, about helping old Mrs. Harper with errands in exchange for food. Henry listened, silent but intent. When she finished, he said quietly, "You've done more kindness with nothing than most people do with everything." Maya blushed. "I just do what feels right." He leaned back. "Would you work for me, Maya? I'll find you a place to stay, safe, warm. You've got honesty in your eyes. I could use that." Her eyes widened. "Work for you? But I don't even know how to." "Learn," he said with a rare smile. "That's what I did." Days turned into weeks. Maya began working as an assistant in Henry's charitable foundation. She handled small tasks, sorted donations, and managed schedules. Everyone was surprised by how quickly she adapted, everyone except Henry, who saw potential in her from the start. But something about Henry puzzled her. He was kind but distant, always avoiding personal questions. His health seemed fragile, and he often stared at an old photo on his desk, a woman and a young boy smiling beside him. One evening, Maya brought him tea and found him clutching that photo again. His eyes were glassy. "Your family?" she asked gently. He nodded. "My wife and son. Gone. 10 years now. Car accident." Maya's heart ached. "I'm so sorry." He smiled faintly. "You remind me of them, the way you care." Before she could reply, his phone rang. Henry answered, and his expression changed instantly. "What do you mean he's found out?" he barked. "That account was sealed years ago." He hung up abruptly and rubbed his temples. Maya hesitated. "Is everything okay?" He looked at her with hesitation, then said, "Maya, if anything happens to me, there's a file in my drawer. Promise me you'll keep it safe." Her eyes widened. "Mr. Stone, what are you talking about?" But before he could answer, his assistant burst in. "Sir, we have a problem. Mr. Daniels is here, and he's furious." Henry's expression darkened. "Tell him to wait in the boardroom." As he left, Maya noticed his hands shaking. Something was terribly wrong. An hour passed. Then 2. Maya waited anxiously in the office until shouting erupted down the hall. She ran toward the noise and peeked into the boardroom. Henry stood facing a tall man in a designer suit, his brother, by the resemblance. "You can't just erase me from Father's will," the man yelled. Henry's tone was cold. "Father's money went to charity, just as he wanted. I'm not giving you a cent, Charles." Charles slammed his fist on the table. "You think you're untouchable because you're the saintly billionaire? Let's see what happens when your dirty secrets come out." Henry's face went pale. "Get out." Charles smirked. "I'll see you ruined, brother." When he stormed out, Maya hid behind the corner, trembling. Dirty secrets? What could he mean? Henry returned to his office later, his shoulders heavy. "Maya," he said quietly, "lock the doors and go home early." "But sir." "Please." The desperation in his tone made her obey. But as she stepped out, she couldn't shake the feeling that tonight would change everything. Later that night, Maya returned to the office. She'd forgotten her bag. The lights were off. Silence filled the building. But then, footsteps. She hid behind a pillar. A shadowy figure entered Henry's office and began rummaging through his desk drawers. Papers scattered. A safe door creaked open. Maya's pulse raced. Who was that? She stepped closer, her heart pounding, then gasped softly when the figure turned. It was Charles. He held a file, the same file Henry had told her to protect. Without thinking, Maya yelled, "Stop!" Charles froze, startled. "You!" He lunged toward her, but she darted away, clutching the edge of the desk. "Mr. Stone trusted you were family," she shouted. Charles sneered. "Family means nothing when there's billions on the line." He reached for her again, but the office door burst open. Henry stood there, his eyes blazing. "Charles! Put it down now." Henry's voice thundered through the room. Charles froze mid-step, clutching the stolen file to his chest. His face twisted into a smirk. "So the great Henry Stone finally shows up. Still protecting your precious secrets, huh?" Henry took a shaky breath, his hand pressing to his chest. "Don't make this worse than it already is." "Oh, I think it's about to get better," Charles hissed. "You think you're the saint of this empire? You built your fortune off a lie." Maya's eyes widened. "What lie?" Charles turned to her with a cruel grin. "Didn't he tell you? Our father didn't leave him everything out of goodwill. He stole it, locked me out and forged documents to make himself the sole heir." "That's not true." Henry roared, slamming his cane against the floor. His voice trembled with fury. "Father changed the will because you gambled away your inheritance. You nearly bankrupted our family." Charles sneered. "That's your version of the story. The truth is in this file, and I'll make sure everyone sees it." He turned to leave, but Maya darted forward and snatched the file from his hand. "Give that back," he shouted. She clutched it to her chest. "Not until you tell the truth." Henry stepped between them, his breathing ragged. "Maya, go." Charles laughed bitterly. "How noble. Protecting your little charity case while your empire rots from the inside." He shoved Henry hard, too hard. Henry stumbled backward, hitting the edge of his desk and collapsing to the floor. "Mr. Stone." Maya screamed, rushing to his side. Charles panicked and fled, the elevator doors closing just as security arrived. "Call an ambulance." Maya cried, her hands trembling as she tried to wake Henry. His eyes fluttered open. "Maya." "Don't talk, sir. You'll be okay." He weakly grasped her hand. "Promise me, keep the file safe." It's not what he said. "Inside, you'll find the truth." Tears blurred her vision. "Please don't leave me." But his hand went limp. The room fell silent except for the sound of rain against the glass. The next morning, the city's headlines screamed the tragedy. Billionaire Henry Stone dies of heart failure at 62. Maya sat on the orphanage steps, clutching the file he'd given her. Her heart felt hollow. Henry had been the first person to believe in her, to give her a name beyond the orphan girl. After hours of hesitation, she opened the file. Inside were letters, legal documents, and a handwritten note addressed to her. "Maya, if you're reading this, it means I didn't make it. There's something you must know. You weren't just a coincidence in my life, you were part of a promise I made long ago. Years ago, before my fortune, I met a woman at a charity home, your mother. She was kind, selfless, and refused to take anything from me. When she passed, she left you in an orphanage I helped fund, but I lost track of you after my accident. Finding you again wasn't fate, it was destiny. Enclosed is the proof of your guardianship and my revised will. You are not just my heir, Maya. You are my family." Maya's tears fell freely onto the paper. He knew, all along. Attached was a legal statement signed weeks earlier. Henry Stone had named Maya Matthews Stone as the successor of Stone Enterprises. Days later, the board of directors gathered to discuss the future of the company. Charles barged in, waving a forged document, claiming ownership. But Maya walked into the room, no longer the timid orphan. She stood tall, wearing Henry's old watch, her gaze steady. "I believe this belongs to me," she said, placing the real will on the table. The boardroom erupted in murmurs. Charles's face was drained of color. "This is ridiculous," he shouted. "You're just some girl off the street." Maya met his glare. "No. I'm the girl your brother trusted when you betrayed him. And I have every document to prove it." The chairman opened the file, scanning the notarized documents. He looked up solemnly. "It's all legitimate. Henry Stone appointed Miss Matthews as the legal successor." Charles lunged forward in rage, but security restrained him. His voice echoed through the hall as he was dragged out. "You'll regret this, Maya. You'll regret ever meeting us." She didn't flinch. Instead, she whispered to herself, "No, Mr. Stone. I'll honor your legacy." Months passed. Under Maya's leadership, Stone Enterprises transformed. She redirected millions into orphan care, education, and community programs. The media called her the kind billionaire. But Maya never forgot where it all began, the night it rained, and she was just a hungry girl staring at a bakery window. One afternoon, while reviewing project plans, a staff member entered. "Miss Stone, someone here claims to have information about your mother." Maya froze. "Send them in." An elderly woman walked in with a gentle smile. "You don't remember me, dear, but I took care of you at the old St. Mary's orphanage." Maya's eyes welled up. You know my mother?" "She was the kindest soul," the woman said softly. "Before she passed, she said you'd one day change the world through kindness." Maya smiled through tears. "I guess she was right." The woman handed her a worn pendant. Inside was a small photo, her mother holding baby Maya, standing beside a man she now recognized instantly. Henry. Her breath caught. He was there, from the start. The truth hit her like sunlight after a storm. Henry hadn't just given her a future. He had watched over her all along, fulfilling a promise made to her mother.
Maya clutched the pendant tightly and whispered, Thank you for finding me again." Later that evening, she stood by the window of Henry's old office, the same one where she once brought him tea and dreams. The city lights glittered below, and rain began to fall once more. She looked at the sky, smiling faintly. "You were right, Mr. Stone. Kindness really does change lives." And somewhere in that endless night, she could almost hear his gentle voice whisper back, "Keep shining, Maya." The screen fades to black. If this story touched your heart, don't scroll away. Like this video if you believe kindness always finds its way back. Comment below your favorite moment from Maya's journey. Subscribe for more heartwarming stories that prove love and hope can change everything. And don't forget to share this story to remind someone that small acts of kindness can create miracles.